A bunch of things that I wanted to talk with you about. Let me start off with this whole Wikipedia thing. I think this is fascinating. I have reached the point where there are some websites that I can't even visit anymore because they auto-throw video at me, which has audio associated with it. For example, when I'm browsing through the internet using my computer here on the radio show, and sometimes I do this during the break, sometimes I'm even doing it while I'm on the air, just trying to, check things and whatnot, I can no longer go to Huffington Post. Because anywhere I go on that site, it automatically starts playing video at me, and I have no control over it. And this computer is tied into our board, and it can pop, that audio can pop up on the air, and it's just, it's a mess. But it's not just that. I mean, there are sites that you got pop-up blockers in your browser, but there's still sites that get around it. There are sites that are clickbait. I mean, there's so much clickbait out there. You see a great headline, you say, wow, that's fascinating. You click on it and find it's a 3-paragraph story with 25 ads surrounding it, right? Or it pops open two different tabs on your computer, one full of ads or whatever it may be. I mean, it's just increasingly, I think people are saying, enough already. I'm sick of it. Just give me the damn news. So Jimmy Wales, the guy who founded Wikipedia, says he is going to be rolling out this new product that is basically crowdsourced news. Just like Wikipedia is crowdsourced encyclopedia, this would be it's called Wikitribune. And, no advertising, relying on supporters to fund it, just like Wikipedia. And they say that it's going to go live within a month. And their initial goal is to raise enough money to hire 10 professional journalists. They're encouraging people to commit $10 a month, but, all these things can be modified. And so I'm wondering, from your point of view, what are the things that drive you crazy about news sites, web-based news sites right now? And as opposed to what are the things that you really, like about some of them? And is this something that you would find appealing? Or have we become so accustomed to sensationalized headlines and stories with spin, particularly spin that we agree with, right? I mean, I spend a whole lot more time on progressive sites like Common Dreams and Alternet than I do at Daily Caller and Mediaite, right-wing websites or Breitbart. I look at them because that's my job, but I'm guessing a lot of progressives don't even bother to read Breitbart or Drudge. Whereas, but in any case, what are your news consumption habits like, and how might they change if you had a site that really, literally had no bias? Which then raises the question, who says what's bias? Right? If, for example, here we have this new piece of legislation that Paul Ryan is championing in the House of Representatives. It's called the Working Families Flexibility Act, House Resolution 1180. And the Working Families Flexibility Act doesn't give you flexibility. It gives your employer flexibility. Right now, if you work more than 40 hours in a given week and you're an hourly employee in most places, and I think this is federally, you have to be paid overtime. Well, what this act would do is it would say, well, your employer can demand that you work 60 hours this week and only 20 hours next week and never pay you overtime. So your employer has more flexibility to screw your working family. It also allows your employer to borrow your overtime pay interest-free. In other words, if they are going to pay overtime, while that money is in their checking account, they have not yet written their paycheck to you. Let's say that company goes bankrupt, as it happens to about 400,000 businesses every year in the United States, or just closes shop. They can keep your money under this legislation. This is a variation on the pension law changes that Reagan did. Used to be before Reagan, if a company had a pension, even if that company went bankrupt, that pension survived because the pension was booked as a liability, as something the company owed. So if the company got sold or if the company declared bankruptcy, they had to fulfill their liabilities first. They had to pay off the pension fund so that it could continue to provide pension to the workers. This is, I mean, right now, this whole miners thing, the president, oh, yeah, we're going to take care of the miners. Why are the miners in trouble? because all these mines, you know, they internalized the profits and externalized the costs. They made all kinds of money digging coal out of the ground and killing not an insignificant number of miners in the process and making many of them very, very sick. And then once there was no more profit, they simply, you know, closed shop, walked away. The billionaire owners dusted their hands of it, and they said, okay, tough luck. Let the government deal with it. Because the government, this is the great Reagan invention. The government will take care of the pensions, but the government now doesn't because the Republicans have gotten a hold of this 3 or 4 times. Now they want to do this with overtime pay. So if this story is portrayed on this new Wikitribune, how do you portray a story like that? Is it, you know, to be honest journalism? Is it Paul Ryan sets out to screw working people? Or is it, you know, companies are seeking to gain more flexibility for themselves? Or is it the sales pitch that Republicans are making, that this is the Working Families Flexibility Act, and it's going to give you all more flexibility to take less money and have it stolen? I mean, it's like one person's spin is another person's truth. One person's truth is another person's spin. How do you decide that? Who decides that? I mean, even if you look at the 5 Pinocchios thing over at the Washington Post, or the Pants on Fire, whatever they are, you know, you read these and you go, well, you know, maybe. But, you know, if you could spin it a slightly different way, or Snopes, you know, I mean, I'd say 9 out of 10 times I agree with them both. And I've gotten dinged by these guys. But, you know, and in times I agree with them dinging me. But the point is that who makes that decision? Well, I guess it's going to get crowdsourced. If it gets crowdsourced, does it go to whoever has the loudest voice? Will that be the right-wingers who can buy those voices?
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 202-808-9925.
I mean, just like we have right-wing think tanks here in D.C. who are aggressively editing Wikipedia constantly, are they going to be editing Wikitribune? I would bet so.